All right. Hello, everyone. This is Richard Stewart. Um, and I kind of created this channel just to talk about different subjects. Started out is just talking about healthcare issues and nursing issues because I spent most of my career as a nurse, but now I've kind of delved into talking issues about issues that affect us, as people, and behavior issues and everything, and things that affect us, that affect our health, that affect our well-being. Um, One of those issues that I've really thought a lot about and have wanted to record and talk about is technology and the stress that technology has created and the expectation on people because of technology. And I'll just kind of share my own, experience with technology. I know that when I was growing up, I was an '80s child. I was born in 1970. I graduated high school in 1988, and of course, at that time, we didn't have, this. I'm just going to be jumping back and forth. I didn't. This is not scripted, but I'm just going to talk. I remember when I graduated in '88, and I remember when we had to do a term paper that, and the subject was, what do you want to do? Like, what career do you want to go into? What career are you interested in? And at that time, you know, I grew up in Troy, Alabama. You know, bless my, bless my parents. My dad was a professor at a university there. My mother was a fifth grade school teacher, but they didn't really spend a lot of time talking to me about what was out in the world. I know my mother had a lot of uncles that were into oil business, and you know, encouraged me to do that, um, and basically kind of what my mom really kind of put. Oh, well, just get a degree. It doesn't matter what it's in. Um, and I noticed that especially in the South, a lot of focus was on sports, baseball, football, basketball. That's what the kind of the focus was. That's what the kids did. The sports. They didn't really talk too much about career. What do you want to do after? And the people that did were talking about it. The kids were talking about it. Their fathers were policemen or firemen, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to do what their parents were doing. Um, we didn't have internet at that time, and I remember I did the term paper, and of all things, I chose aeronautical engineering because I thought it sounded good. I thought it'd be a good, find good information in term. But I'm thinking, I didn't know a damn thing about aeronautical engineering. Wasn't even my grades weren't even. I when you don't have a goal as especially a young kid, you're not motivated to make good grades when you don't have a goal. You're like, why am I going to school? What do I need to take these classes for? Like, let's just hurry up and get through, and so I can go to, people were like, oh, I'm going to go, I'm going to the University of Alabama. I'm going to Auburn University, and that was just going to a university seemed kind of cool, like, but and you would hear a little bit here, a little bit there about people going to auto mechanics or welding or whatever, but underlying tone from parents was you don't want to do that. You want to go to a university, and you want the prestige of going to a university. And so I had to look in the Encyclopedia Britannica at the time on aeronautical engineering. Uh, didn't know what I wanted to do. Went to college. Uh, I thought I knew what I wanted to do. I took some classes, started taking, classes here and there, and I decided that I think my mother's friend talked to me about, have you ever thought about nursing? I was like, no, I didn't, but now that she mentioned it, she goes, well, a lot of men are going into nursing, so I set my path on that, and eventually started working in nursing, and I'd been doing that for years, and kind of almost quit, almost stopped. There was a lot of things that happened to me in my career that I really kind of wish I'd, done something else. What I'm saying is there were things that happened to me that really put a bad taste in my mouth, but I kept going. I'm still involved with nursing. I'm now a realtor. I do that too, but I'm also involved in nursing. But my point is, technology. I couldn't do research. I didn't know what was out there. Now you have YouTube, you have the internet. Kids can see what's out in the world. Thank God, that they can from the comfort of their own home see the rest of the world, which is, and if they want to know something about welding, they can look at a video about welding, or they want to know something about this, or they can look at different jobs. You couldn't do that back then. We were lost. I'm telling you, our generation was lost. We didn't know. We just, go to university. And you know what? The universities, and I saw a statistic, the universities, one of the highest grossing businesses in the United States. And I really think that they had a racket on convincing parents to tell their kids to go to universities. Kids come out of universities, parents paying their tuition with a $200,000 debt. They can't get a job. They go to liberal arts, can't get a job. So I'm glad to see that technology has, as far as that aspect, I think we were in the dark. So that's a good thing about the internet. It makes people more aware, more accountable. It really sheds light on the truth a lot of times, and I think there's a lot of good things about the internet. It makes people aware of what's out there. It's good to research, easy. So, but I remember cell phones back in the when I was 96, 95 was when I first had my first block phone through Cellular One. And at the time, I think they were one of the only cellular companies around, and they had the market. I remember I was paying it didn't matter how I called or what I did, my bill was about $300 a month. $300 a month back in 1995. And I was like, holy crap, what am I doing? We got to call this time, not call this time. And you go to talk to go to the store to talk to them, and they knew what to say. They were trained in what to say. You do this, that. But there was like a racket. And I think Clinton or something, they broke it up, and that's when you have AT&T and Verizon and all these other companies, and cell phone things started coming down. So you had the flip phone, and at the time it was a luxury. Just like cars were a luxury back in the 30s or 40s, whenever the cars first started, but everybody didn't have one, so it was a luxury. But when everybody started getting one, slowly it became a necessity, especially if you lived, culture built itself around cars. So you lived in a town and you could get everything, you could walk down the street and get everything you needed. Now, because you have cars, you had to go drive here and drive there and drive there to get everything you needed. And it's just created that way, and so it became a necessity. Same thing with cell phones. Everybody didn't have one, especially back in 1994. You still had landlines, 95. But I noticed that when everybody started getting a cell phone, everything started working around that. Businesses started, you putting apps on the phone, and all these, pay phones went out of commission, and people start getting landlines. So then everybody has a cell phone. Everybody's got immediate access to communication. And this is where I think this started, with the easy access of contacting someone. Of course, you had pagers to begin with. Then you could text, and then you have text and cell phones. And what I've noticed over that progression since the 90s is the expectation of communication. Used to, it was normal if you would have um, a recording machine back in the 90s, like somebody call and answer machine, excuse me, an answer machine, and somebody could leave a message, and you might wait a day to get back with that person, and to that person it was okay. Or you could leave a voicemail, like they had the thing eventually where you could put voicemail on the phone, but it wasn't anything to people. Okay, the government, hey man, I'm got your message. I'm sorry, no problem. But then when people started, everybody had a cell phone. Now somebody sends you a text, somebody calls, leave a message. If you don't answer that message or answer that call within that day or within the hours, they take it personally. They feel like you're avoiding them. And what that does is create stress on a person. That expectation for you to call them right back or text them right back. And that's hard on a person, man. Especially when you got 10 other people putting that expectation on you. And that's what I've seen as far as this, just not healthy and not normal. I've started just not calling people back. And a lot of people, and I've noticed that if you answer right away, people will expect you to keep answering right away. So you kind of have to teach other people how to treat you, really, with the technology, with voicemail and text. But I see that expectation of hurrying up to contact someone, creating a lot of stress on a person. Another thing I've seen is when people are like, you'll get into an elevator or you're in a restaurant or something, and somebody's talking on the phone, or they'll come into the restaurant, or they're coming to where a lot of people are, and they're on speakerphone, and you can hear their very personal conversation. And what they should do, they should unless it's an emergency, they should tell the other person the etiquette. And people just are afraid. They're afraid to put their boundaries down on etiquette. What they should do is tell the other person on the other line, hey, I'm going into a crowded place right now. I have to call you back, or I need to call you back. But the people are afraid. They feel bad. They feel bad for telling people they got to go. But that other person on the other side of the line, they're probably just sitting at home eating bonbons. They don't care. They don't care unless you tell them. And I want to encourage you guys to start having some boundaries with people when they call you, when they text you. Tell them, I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. And and if they don't want to have anything to do with you because you're setting boundaries, that's their problem, not yours. So I just want to see if you guys have any thoughts about all this, about the technology and the expectation. I know that there's just so many. It's almost like this. It's almost like, if I can explain it. I kind of had it in my mind at one time. Let's just say that it took this much time to do something in the past, right? And so now, and I'm just going to remember this distance, okay, from like here to the end of my screen. It took this much time to do something, right? So now with technology, it takes this much time, right? But what has happened is, because it's taken this much time, people fill this space with other things. Instead of just relaxing and enjoying that time, they have to fill the rest of this time with other technology. And it's just on and on and on and on until you can't even rest. Emails. You get tons of emails, and you have to spend almost an hour a day going through emails that are spam, emails that are irrelevant, or you'll miss an important email, right? And it's just that it's almost like you have to set aside a time. I know on my screen right now, on my computer screen, I have to put an app for everything in my life on the app. I have to see it. I have to see it all, or I cannot function, honestly. And it's sad. It's sad that it's all, did I miss something? Did I miss something? Every day I'm waking up, did I miss something? Did I miss something? Because I'm so afraid that somebody's going to send me a text or email and I'm going to miss it. And they're going to get upset. And I've had situations where somebody says, "Hey, we need to send you, we need to like work," or so, "Hey, we need to hear from you today," or and I'm like, "Well, I didn't see the dang text," or they'll send a text and it's the expectation. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments about what you think about this. If you think the expectation that technology has created is just going too far. Thank you.